right, y'all. War Sports, Wins Above Replacement podcast, reaction show, live, quick clip. Game just ended. First thoughts, Dion, off the top of the dome. What's up?
For me, the first game went exactly like I thought it was. Going into the game, I thought that Tampa Bay had the better offensive team and the defense was better. And I just figured those two things, especially the defense, that it was going to be they're a better team. That game went kind of just like how I planned, that they were going to be able to stop Rodgers enough and score enough points to beat them. And then the second game, I was wrong on that. You were right. And like I said, it was, I called it a little biased, AFC's biased, but it's true. They were, the Bills were just a year early, maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple years early, I don't know, but they needed to feel this to get over that hump because like they had said on the game, they came out and scored the first 9 points and then they scored the last 9 points. But in between that, it was 34-6. So like we talked about in other games, leading up into the AFC Championship game, there was a team, Chiefs scored touchdowns, Bills scored field goals, and you can't do that, and so.
Nah, and, second game first, since it just ended, Josh Allen, again, the leading rusher for the Bills. Yeah. There's no run game at all right there, and I'll give it to I told them they had that little brother syndrome that, just ain't ready yet. And they might be there, but, Josh Allen, at the end of that game, his teammates sticking up for him, risking fines, risking ejections, coming to his aid when they didn't feel like he was being treated fairly. That says a lot for that team. That says a lot for that coaching staff. And, if my son's watching that game, I said, that's what you do. And it wasn't Myles Garrett taking a helmet off, beating. It was, hey, I'm standing up for my guy. Hey, this isn't needed. You better recognize that we ain't going to let you do that. And, you better stand down.
And on top of that, kudos to the NFL, because they could have called 2-3 penalties, ejected guys. And you know what? There's no place for that. They understood that the emotions are high right now. Going through the whole season, this is it right here. And so they could have done a lot of things, moved Buffalo back even further, but they just, it was a little bit on both sides. Probably more on Buffalo's side, but rather than saying, hey, let's not even give them, get to end this game now and throw this, move them back more, they did not. So I tip my hat to them. And even officiating all day, both games, there wasn't a lot. They didn't leave it up to their call. There was interference at the end of the game, but it was a pass interference, clear as day, and it was a little late of a call. But hey, other than that, they let them play all day today, and so I was real happy with that today.
No, for sure. Just imagine if you're Josh Allen, you got pushed around, whistles blowing, and no one comes to help you. How do you feel? But it's a losing effort. But again, he's going to go in that locker room and say, hey, man, my guys have my back. I always got your back. I put it all out there on the field. And that's Buffalo. And I think that, Tony Romo, they talked about that. Josh Allen is Buffalo's. That's the mentality. He's the perfect guy for that team.
Absolutely.
He does, he has that Jim Kelly kind of vibe that, I'm good. I know it. I'm cocky, but also I'm going to be humble in my defeats.
Right.
And that maybe that upper New York area, that's what they need. And it showed. Yeah. Their class act, they donated last week or 2 weeks ago to Lamar Jackson's charity. And, give it up for them. They're, like I said, maybe they're a year away. They're probably a running back away. I don't know how they're going to add through the draft.
Tighten up that defense a little bit too. I don't know what's up with that defense, but they're not bad on defense.
Yeah, you get a pass rusher and you get a decent run game.
Absolutely.
It's going to look different. And the East is up for grabs. I don't know what Miami's going to do with Tua next year.
Right.
And we'll get into all that stuff in another podcast as far as getting into the divisions and what teams have and have nots and what they got to do for next year. But that first game, I will admit, I was wrong a little. I leaned on Rodgers. I leaned on the home team. Everything on paper said the Packers should win that game, right? It's home.
Absolutely.
It's cold weather. 3 straight games on the road for the Tampa. Aaron Rodgers' first home hosting an NFC Championship game in all of his career. He's been hot. And I give it up. If you know me, it's like, Tom Brady is barely even touches the earth because that's how much I think of the guy. And on paper it said bet against Aaron Rodgers, but in my heart, and I'm watching the game, I knew Tom Brady was going to win. You know what I mean? It's just it's ingrained in my
there, done
soul.
that, knows how to.
You see 12 and you see Brady on the back, you're going to win. You think you can win any game, and that's a cool feeling.
Man.
And our buddy Cameron, he's a Bucs fan for a long time, and I told Denise, my wife, and she said, "Is it weird to watch Tom Brady?" And I said, "No, it's nice to cheer for my friend's team. It's not if he would have went to play for the Dallas
Right.
Cowboys or the
Someone, yeah,
49ers or some team I just could not stand,
Right.
I'd be like, but I always cheered for the Buccaneers anyway, because if my team's out of it, might as well cheer for my
Yeah.
homies' teams.
Absolutely.
But I will say
And
this.
what better
Go ahead.
game, man?
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you, because that you could have a good story, Brady against the AFC East Bills, but he owns them, man. I tell you, I feel like this is the game people want to see. Brady, how many more years are you going to do it? How many more? 10 Super Bowls, man. Can you believe that? I'm just sitting there trying to think of that. They're showing stats of Breeze and Rodgers both have played 35 years combined, and they have each one NFC championship trophy. Brady's been here 1 year, has one already. I mean,
no, it's true.
It's wow, like unbelievable.
And I love Tony Romo's line at the end when he said it's like LeBron James playing Michael Jordan in their primes. You know what I mean?
It is. It really is.
It's like, who would have? And this is what sports brings us in the NFL right now. And Tom Brady, just the test of time, really is passing that. And there was a couple of throws that his deep touch is a little off, probably for his age, and maybe that's arm and neck, but he rifled a few of those short ones in tight windows, and you would never. I mean, that's a throw Mahomes makes. It's a throw Herbert makes. It's a throw these young guys make, and there was nothing off of there. It was just on a rope. I know we're going to wrap up. It's, again, just a reaction show.
Yeah.
One thing that we talked about on the podcast earlier on Friday night, Saturday was Rodgers could not get sacked again like he did that first contest.
Yep.
He got sacked again 5 times and lost a chunk of yards. Run game never got going. Jones never did nothing in the second half. They turned into a one-dimensional team. Adams did his thing like everybody thought he would, but no one else showed up kind of on the offensive side. And on the on the other side, I think I texted you or a couple guys. AB Brown being out for the first 2.5 quarters. Brady pushed balls. He would have. Those would be Antonio Brown routes, and they had to go to Evans and Godwin did his thing. Scotty Miller, you gave him a special shout out. He showed up for you. But we'll put that game into a tight bow in a package. How would you grade the overall Buccaneers game plan, Brady's performance, and then give your perspective on launching into the AFC. We have the defending champs on the AFC side, but on the NFC side, what do you think that off the top of your head, what do the Buccaneers need to do, improve on from today, and take that next step to be ready for the next Chiefs game?
I touched on it on the last podcast about how I almost feel like that they're not as effective a team with Antonio Brown there. So that's going to play a little different because he will be back. They did mention that Arians did mention that he'll be ready for the next game, whatever. But I just feel like they're a better team without him. Was like you said, Scotty Miller, he can get 1-2 targets a game, and hey, I'm part of the game plan. Let's do it. And he's going to make those tough catches, like the important catches, like he did before the half. Which that turned things around right there. That was it. Right there when that happened, I was like, game over. But I feel like they're going to have to. Real similar to the week 12. They played in week 12. Mahomes ended up winning that game. So like I said, beating Brady twice is going to be tough. I think they're going to have to just come out, have to control the clock a little bit more. But like I said, I was really excited with what I saw from Brady. He looked phenomenal today. Even on the deep field, the touch passes, man. How he just lead his receivers, just sitting there and he see somebody getting open and just throw it right over and just float it right to where it needed to be. And it's just the vintage Brady, it's like this playoff time now and he's ready to play. I feel like they just need to control the clock, get some short runs, some quick runs like they did today. I feel like exactly what they did today. If they do that in the Super Bowl, that's their best chance to win,
And I'll tell you this, being a Brady fan for 21 years now, all the way back to when he first stepped in for Drew Bledsoe's injury, and it felt like it was yesterday, but it's been a long time. But what Brady does, and you saw it today with people that you wouldn't have expected it from, is he makes sure the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fournette ran with the purpose, and you saw that on a couple of carries. That touchdown, he was a different guy, right? I mean, he looked like
20-yard run. That was crazy.
Eric Dickerson or something out there.
Yeah.
Brate, showed up when he needed to. Godwin was making those first down catches. Brady wasn't efficient, but he was a home run hitter today. where
Right.
he hit the big yards when he needed it. He had the touchdowns when he needed it. Mike Evans drops 2 or 3 off his hands, and Brady's yards look way better. It's 2 more completions, but he might have been 350 yards.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
again, he gets his teammates ready. They know what's on the line, and he expects nothing less but them to concentrate, to focus, and give their all out there.
And they do, man.
They did.
Tell you, it's unbelievable.
It's
gonna be a good game. Like I said, you saw it on the other side, with the AFC with Kansas City Chiefs. The defense they played today was outstanding. That's the best I've seen them play defensively all year long. And I talked about flipping that switch. I talked about Mahomes flipping that switch. Dude's got turf toe, and he even scrambled a few times. I'm like, what is this guy doing? And so they just understand. They've been there, done that. This is gonna be a great game to break down this week. Like I said, I can't wait to just break it down and get into the game. As we get into the next 2 weeks, have some special guests on here, and just get different viewpoints on the game. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be real fun. So, I'm gonna go upstairs. We're gonna get ready for the school week. We got our kids. We got to get ready for bed here in a minute. But we'll catch up with everybody online later. But Dion, have a good night, man. All right. Championship Sunday is over. The Final Four. We're down to the championship game. Chiefs Bucks. It's gonna be fun. So let's get together.
It's good.
All right, y'all. Peace out.